bit of football. There's probably a lot of people that are happy. There's probably a lot of people that are sad. Me personally, I'm just fucking confused. That's as simple as it is. What's up, Flozell?
Hey, Zach. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about with these boys laying that egg 2
Oh,
days ago, and I am totally surprised by that because I figured that I knew it was going to be a close game, but I didn't think at all
there wasn't nothing
that
close about that.
I was thinking the Cowboys were going to win by three, but this was a total disaster. It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. It was a total disaster.
Yeah, I mean, you could see CD Lamb like dejected, just completely like, what the fuck is going on? I
Yeah,
mean,
he
even after the
well,
first four.
I saw a couple of things with CD Lamb. He when he was getting double teamed and everything, and Dak was forcing the ball to him. And I'm looking at the replays and everything, and I see Tolbert open, single coverage, and shoot, I forgot the other guy, man. He was open with single coverage, so somehow Dak was trying to force this ball to CD Lamb at times. And I
And they
remember
were bad throws.
one time on the interception, I had saw him force that ball to CD, and freaking number three was wide open. I'm
Yeah.
like, literally, I've talked to DB before. When a quarterback is coming out, anything about a football player, or maybe athlete, I don't know. I'm just a football player. We're looking at his eyes. Like
Yeah.
I'm an offensive tackle. When I'm walking to the line, I'm looking into the defensive guy's eyes. And usually they tell where they're going to go. When you're a quarterback in shotgun, you're looking around like this. When you take a snap and you're looking at the receiver, the doggone DB see that you're looking to the receiver. I mean,
Right.
unless you like check 1, 2, 3, it's going to be hard for them a little bit. But when you're looking at your guy off the snap and they know you're going to throw it to him, they're going to jump on the ball.
Yeah, which
Dak
is
has been
why
in the league. He's been in the league too long for that to be falling
right.
for that crap.
Which is why like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, the no look pass where they're looking this way and the ball's going that way. That's
Yeah,
what
that's what you
they're
have to
they're
do.
yeah.
So that's you have to be a lot more creative when it comes to things like that, man. I mean, I'm looking at the replay I'm looking at the actual play, and he's looking at the receiver the whole time. So what you think the DB is going to do? They're just going to jump on the ball, which is what they did, especially the one on the interception for a touchdown. I'm
The
like, you're making
crazy
rookie mistakes, and this is your seventh, eighth year in the league, dude. Come on now.
yeah.
And I'm a Dak fan,
Yeah.
100%. I usually don't have anything bad to say about this guy, but this game right here, the one 2 days ago, it was not one of his best games, and he chose to not have one of his best games when this game's counted.
Yeah. The crazy thing about this weekend is there was only one competitive game, Rams Lions. It was the only game that was even. 23-24 Lions move on. I mean, Texas just wore out the Browns. I mean,
Yes.
wore them out.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins did not stand a chance. 26-7. The Packers over the Cowboys, 48-32.
That was not as close as it seemed, that score. It was
No.
not as close as it seemed. It was actually worse than that, but it's just amazing uh, that the Cowboys played that way. And then sometimes you can think about it was, well, that's what I expected, but I don't expect it. I expect something different every year, a better plan, a better sacrifice or anything like that. And
Well,
you got a group chat on the phone, and I said, their body language sucked. They're still in the
yeah.
third quarter. You still have a chance. A defensive stop, a touchdown. Maybe a defensive stop, field goal. You're back in the game.
Well, and they
But their
started
body
doing it.
language gave up real quick, man.
But they started doing it, which because Green Bay pulled their starters. They were like, "Oh, we're just going to pull our starters and let the second string." And then Cowboys went down and made a touchdown, and then Jordan Love was back in the game. It was like, hold on now, Dallas is pulling off the okey doke here. So let's
Yeah,
go
but
ahead and
Yeah, that was yeah, total disaster. Now you're hearing the news of everything is should they fire the whole staff or anything like that? I'm like, uh, I mean, keep the guys. You're gonna get the same results. They're gonna
Yeah.
go 12-5 next year, 13-4 or something next year, and get in the first round of the playoffs and lose. So, you want that disappointment, or are you gonna want somebody new? So, me personally, I would get rid of the old staff. Everybody.
So
I would. I'm Jerry Jones. I'm saying, hey, I'm hiring the next guy, and well, I'm different from Jerry Jones, but I'd be like, look, I don't want anybody from this staff, the previous staff on this team.
well, yeah.
Man, I
Look what
understand one is
Dion
your
said.
boy or something, but no,
But look
nobody.
what Dion said. Dion even said, "Why would I keep a losing team? Why would I keep losing coaches?" When he walked in there, I mean, obviously he didn't do great last year, but there's probably still more to come. But he basically went in and told all the players, "Hey, y'all need to enter the portal. Coaches, bye. Y'all lost. Y'all had a horrible season the year before. And obviously Dallas didn't have a horrible season this year, but this is one thing that I read, and when you start thinking about it, it does make a ton of sense. Jerry Jones doesn't want an up and comer. Who was the last up and comer that Jerry Jones hired? There hasn't been one.
No, not at all.
He wants because one of the recommendations that everybody is screaming about is the offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick. But my curiosity is this: since Bill Belichick is gone from the Patriots, does Jerry Jones say, "Hey, Bill, come down and talk to me here in Dallas"? Or, I'll come to you.
Look, I guarantee you, the moment that I bet $10,000 that the moment that the news came out, I know it probably came out before the news media outlet got a whiff from him leaving the Patriots. But the moment Jerry found out, I bet you he called him.
Yeah.
I bet you he called him and talked to him. Or whatever, was said. Like, hey, you want to come down here, anything like that. That's the talk. But I guarantee you that Jerry has already talked to Bill Belichick. Now, if Bill Belichick wants to come down here with that type of owner, general manager, that's going to be up him. There's going to be a task at hand because
Bill's way.
When I was with the Cowboys, Bill Parcells was the head coach, and from my understanding, it was an agreement that Jerry would stay away. And Jerry, no, yes, he did. He stayed away for about 2 years.
Oh wow!
And then he got that itch. I mean, he didn't. It was a point that he didn't come to the practices like he normally comes. So, but that itch, Jerry can't sit down. He started poking his head around that third year, so like that. Bill didn't like that. So, and after that third year, that's when Bill was gone. So Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick are boys. It seems like they're not, but they're boys. Or they talk to each other at least. So I'm sure that Belichick had talked to Parcells and like, hey, what happened with you down there 15 years ago, 17 years ago, or something. Bill's gonna tell him. So, a guy like Belichick, 6 Super Bowls and the type of records he had with the Patriots, I mean, Hall of Fame type coaching career, he's not going to want to come down here and relinquish control on what he knows how to do. Because I believe he was a general manager type head coach there for a while.
Oh yeah,
he made the decision.
It's a whole new world. When Belichick comes in, it's Belichick from beginning to end. Which, when he did his press conference, a lot of it was some of the things that happened this year he didn't agree to, and he wasn't blaming anybody, but he was just like, there were some changes that were made that I don't fully agree with, and blah 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 blah. But Dallas is a Super Bowl ready team. As much as I scream and yell at the fans who we're going to the Super Bowl, we're going. The Dallas Cowboys are a Super Bowl ready team. They could walk out the door, and with the right coach and the right planning and everything else, Dallas could win a Super Bowl.
I believe you. I totally 100% believe with you what you say with that. I mean, look, the kind of roster that they have, the type of players that they have.
It's ridiculous.
I can totally understand that, but the type of coaching that you said, the number one thing is the type of coaching. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Mike McCarthy, just his mannerisms, everything, just see that he was defeated before the end of the first half. And
Yeah.
a buddy of mine had actually told me that I never ever would have thought of this. He had mentioned this to me last night. He said that Dan Quinn, Dan Quinn, offensive coaches. Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys right now, 2 days ago, whole season. His offensive coaches, when he was head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, when they went to the Super Bowl in 2016, was Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, and guess who? Matt LaFleur.
Oh, wow.
And Quinn is 0-6 playing against these guys. So every time Mike Quinn's defense, I don't know however long he been with the Cowboys, maybe 4 years or 2 years somewhere else, whatever. He is 0-6 against his own coaches from that 2016 Super Bowl from the Atlanta Falcons, which Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, Matt LaFleur. So that makes sense.
Yeah,
it totally makes sense. So while his coaches were coaching for, I mean, they probably weren't cheating or anything, but they're smart guys, so they see what he does. So the next
he likes
time
to do this when this happens.
Yeah, he likes to do this and this, and it definitely got exploited.
Yeah,
it definitely got exploited. So he should have known better. I mean, they picked up gaps where it was like 4 plays where the doggone 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers actually stopped, turned around, caught the ball wide open, and it was like 1 touchdown and 3 big plays. So Dan Quinn, they holler for him to be head coach. No, because he's going to get tumbled by those guys.
It would not surprise me if Belichick ends up being head coach. I think he goes to Jerry and says, "Look, man, just let go and give it to me, and I'll give you a Super Bowl." So I do want to talk Texans. CJ Stroud was, I mean, that game was just magical. I mean, that dude right there, man, I just one thing after another, it was utterly amazing watching CJ Stroud play against the Browns. And the Browns defense, what was the Browns defense ranked?
Well, back early in the season?
No. What was their
the
rank?
The Browns beat the Texans?
Number 1. Man, you shut up.
Yeah.
You be quiet over there, Vaughn. Better than Justin Fields. Yes, he is better than Justin Fields.
Wrong vocabulary, way better.
Where are your Raiders at? They're in the same place my Bears are at home. That's all that matters. Nothing matters after the season unless you win the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the Browns were number 1 this year, and CJ Stroud just picked them apart.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, it seems like this guy's been playing in the league for a couple of years already with his intellect and how everything has been going. And plus the coaches, again, put him in good positions for him to succeed. I mean, this guy's only had 16 completions for 274 yards and 3 touchdowns. So that means that he was obviously just throwing bombs against Cleveland. So that shows a lot. And Cleveland is one of the top-ranked defenses of the NFL this year.
Number 1. No. They were number 1.
Oh, they were number 1. That's what you said, number 1. Cleveland was number 1 defense?
Number 1. And CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud kicked their ass.
Just
that's amazing.
Them the fuck out. I mean,
wow.
There's got to be. So the Steelers, Bills, you know, the Bills ran away with this in the beginning, and then the Steelers woke up, got within 7, but then again, Buffalo came out and just, man, you be quiet. Look at this fool over here, just nothing but comments. Key phrase during the season. Well, it was only 1 week afterwards, man. What got me was the 52-yard touchdown run
Oh,
by
goodness gracious.
by the quarterback. And don't get me wrong, I mean, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league right now just because of how well he plays. But it was just a 52-yard run. You're supposed to be, and I get it's a wild card, whatever the case may be, but I mean, they just in the first half they thumped them. And then the Steelers woke up a little bit. And then they went back to sleep. My favorite after the game interview was Tomlinson. It was the funniest shit in the entire world. He's answering all these questions. He's going through all this stuff. The last question he is asked is this. Mike, you have 1 year left on your contract. That dude walked the fuck out.
I didn't see that. Wow.
That fool, he was like,
I didn't even see that. Wow.
Shit was hilarious.
He doesn't normally do that. He normally stays to the last second.
But he didn't want to talk about that shit. He wants to talk about the game. And he was very good, talking about, hey, we failed. These are the things. And of course they were asking about Watt and, what about Watt? And, did you miss him? He's like, man, we knew Watt wasn't going to play. He wasn't even on my mind the entire time. Yeah. I was concentrating on what we did. Rudolph had some great plays. But our defense wasn't stopping this. The offense wasn't stopping this. And then they asked that question, you have 1 year left on your contract. And that dude was like, do? And just left.
Well, point.
Shit.
I don't think the Buffalo Bills actually beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers beat themselves, especially with that defensive play. And I was watching when that Allen had scrambled for that 52-yard touchdown. And he couldn't believe that he ran through that thing. Because, I mean, he was expecting to get tackled the way he was like, a little bit like, and then he like, and kept running. And those DBs, I don't even know what they were going through with the non-tackling and everything. I mean, he's running straight up. Should have busted that dude in his friggin' head running through there like that. And the one guy was running right next to him, and he just kind of like this, and he just kept on going like, dude, what the hell?
Let me pet you.
Yeah, and then,
it looked like he was petting him.
Yeah, then he's going through a critical moment on a 3rd and long towards the end of the game where he can sit up there and probably at least try to get something offensively going. And I'm surprised that Fitzpatrick, the DB, number 39 for Pittsburgh Steelers, did this, that Shacker, whatever this number is for Bills, had got that quick slant. He had him tackled. But he chose to try to throw him down instead of trying to tackle him. And this guy, what was it, a 20-yard touchdown, but at a critical time? I mean, they could have got a field goal instead of a touchdown that kept Pittsburgh in the game at least. But he just wanted to throw him, and the guy stayed on his feet and ran and dipped and dodged and ran into the doggone end zone. I'm like, you guys really, really, really didn't show up today to play. You really didn't show up today. And Pittsburgh's defense is the stalemate of what a defense should do. In the last couple of years, they haven't been doing the things that they need to do.
So my thing with the 52-yard run is if you watch the play, when he does that little hiccup step, it kind of looks like he might be going to slide, and the defense kind of, it looks like he backed off. What does it say? Defensive back tackling has been. Yeah. But that's my question, because he looks like he's about to slide. It's kind of like a middle thing that he's about to slide. So the defense, and that is the one thing. I am not a believer that if a quarterback is running, he should just be a runner. He should not have, and I know everybody's like, we got to protect the quarterbacks. Man, fuck that. Because how many of those guys have you seen that are quarterbacks that look like they're about to slide and then just jump right up and keep running?
Well, there was one particular moment when Jack, number 16, the linebacker for Pittsburgh Steelers, Allen came in, and just as he was running through, he already made his position to tackle.
Bang, bang.
And then he started to slide, and then he hit him, and then he like let up at the same time. But they called a penalty on him.
Which is my point.
That was a bad call.
That was
a bad call.
That was quick. It was one thing right after the other. But the idea that you can fake the slide, right? And the defense is going to back off. So, because they don't want to get the penalty like they did yesterday. And it did on that 52-yard run. If I'm facing him and he does that stutter step, which is almost what it is, it looks like he's about to slide. Defense backs off. He fucking runs right by him.
Yeah, I didn't see that. It didn't look like it was a stutter slide to me. It looked like he just ran straight through, and those dudes didn't do any tackling like they should have. But nevertheless, there should be something different at the annual meetings this year. Like, unless he's on his butt when he slides, he has to be on his butt, not even halfway through. If he's on his butt and then he gets hit, okay, that's a penalty. But if he's going to slide and he's getting hit before his knee or butt hits the ground, hey, it's legal. So how do you expect these defensive guys to play? And I mean, I'm all for the quarterback. I'm an offensive lineman, but some of that stuff out there, especially that one with Jack, when he was sliding, getting ready to slide, and he already made his position to tackle him.
Yeah.
And then they're going to call a penalty on him. I mean, what do you want those guys to do?
See, I'm with Vaughn here. If you're a runner, then you're a runner. That's it.
Yeah, if you're a runner, you're a runner.
But they'll never do it. Coaches, I mean, the owners are never going to do a rule that doesn't protect. They pay those fools way too much money, especially with all the guaranteed money now. I mean, look what happened with Russell Wilson. You know, we don't want you to get hurt because if you get hurt, we have to pay you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to keep you through next year's contract, and we don't want to do that. So, you know, it was all over the news. They told Russell Wilson, hey, you know, sign an addendum that pulls off your guarantee if you get hurt, and we'll fucking put you back in the game. But he was like, nah, hell no.
Well, that was a low blow move right there. I mean, you had him in there for 15 games, and then you want to pull that crap at the end of the season? Nah, that was some BS on Denver's part. Very, very non-professional. But
100%, because he was in my fantasy league, and he was earning me the points that I needed, and both my quarterbacks got benched that same fucking week.
That's one of them better luck next year type things. But
what do you mean? I won the league. I was able to pull it out. I did not watch this game. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it was obviously pathetic. The Philadelphia Eagles 9, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32.
I watched it.
Did you?
And the Eagles offense is like totally non-existent. And everybody's going to blame Hurts. But when I was watching, some of those wide receivers gave lackluster efforts on trying to help create separation for a guy to make some doggone throws. I mean, they're just running into people and not getting separation. You can't throw the ball when the doggone DB is on your back.
Yeah.
You can't do it. And then the lack of offensive creativity, like what they normally have, is non-existent too. And they're certainly going to fire that doggone offensive coordinator this year.
Oh, for the Eagles? Yeah. I don't know how you excuse the disaster that you became after. I mean, you started out so well and then imploded. I mean, utterly imploded. I think one of the saddest things to come out of that game is obviously the Kelsey brother. What's his name? Josh?
I don't know what his name is. He's a center.
Yeah. He announced he is retiring.
I looked at that this morning, and I didn't know that this
Jason.
dude had played 13 years in the league. I thought he was like 8 years in the league or something like that, but he certainly had a offensive one of the best offensive centers that played the game. And he's been to like 6, 7 Pro Bowls, 4 All Pros. So he's definitely earned his badge when it comes to that, and will be a potential Hall of Famer in the next,
Oh yeah.
5 to 10 years. But he's had a hellified career. Even though I can't stand the Eagles, but I give credit due.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 Super Bowl rings along with all the collar. So what more can you do?
Yeah.
What more can you do? So at 13 years, I played 13 years. Those aches are starting to come up and they don't go away. They're the
Yeah.
Jason Kelsey.
Yep.
Yes. So he's done his job. He's had a very, very good career. My hat's off to him.
I do hear that the New England Patriots hired a head coach.
The Mayo,
Yeah.
Jared Mayo. Actually, I played against that guy a couple of times. He was a very good player back then when he was with the Patriots. I think he did like 8 years of Patriots and 2 years somewhere else. But that young coach thing is starting to come into effect again, like when it was with the guy in L.A.
But doesn't that I mean, well, Tomlin was the youngest coach when he went in, right?
Yeah, that was 17 years ago when he
I know
something
that
like
was,
that. So it
but
goes
it
through
makes sense.
phases. Yeah,
But
it goes through phases.
it makes sense. I mean, to have a new, you don't keep an old car just because it's, a classic. No offense to all the old coaches out there, but you need something new, improved, and things that people haven't seen before. I mean, you just talked about how every time the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys meets somebody he worked with, what happens? He loses. I don't know for sure, but there's probably a halfway decent chance he's losing because they know him well enough to basically whoop his ass. You
Agreed.
need something new. You need some new blood. You need you know, some new people coming in there.
Yeah, Sean McVay.
Now,
Yeah, so when he was hired, he was in and up and coming as a new head coach. Then it started coming back down again, everything. But because of recent success with the Houston Texans with that young coach, yeah, Mayo, with the Houston Texans, that coach, I'm sure he's going to follow trend for the next year or two. So that's why they hired this guy, Mayo, for the New England Patriots. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do with that team.
yeah.
It's not a bad team, actually, because the Patriots defense was what, top 10 in the league this year?
That I do not know.
Because Patriot Bill Belichick is a defensive guy.
Where are the paying rank in defense? Number 7. They were number 7. Yeah.
Yeah, that's number 7 out of all of these teams in the NFL. So you definitely
Look at
have a
the
defensive
Jets.
team.
Look at the
Huh?
Jets. Jets sitting there at number 3.
Oh, how did that happen?
They've got a damn good defense. They got a lot of money in that defense too, though.
They got a lot of money. They got a lot of money at the quarterback too. So
Yeah. Cowboys sat at number 5, although you couldn't tell it from last week.
how the hell did that happen, man? I mean, Green Bay was just run through. Green Bay is not even a rushing team, really.
Nope.
They're not even a rushing team. That doggone guy was just running, number 32 was just running holes through that guy. I mean, where was Parsons and where was number 90? Where were they? I'm going to tell you something about Parsons. Vaughn is listening right now. Parsons has become a prima donna. And I had much respect for this guy. I always thought about, like, hey, what do I do if I played? What would I do if I played against him? And he started to change sometime in the middle of the season. And I see him taking off plays, on run plays, not giving any effort on run plays. The ball would be against him. He could totally chase it down. Like, he wouldn't do it. He'd go against offensive tackle and just stand there. But he's definitely just started to become a pass rushing guy. And just like some of the great defensive ends, supposedly great, because you're looking at their sack 10, 12, 13, 15, 16 sacks a season, but are they playing the whole game? So that's what he's turned to be. And he's not playing the whole game and not giving a lot of effort. So, I mean, he's probably going to get his money anyways, but I'm definitely not impressed on the second half of the season on how this guy played.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what he's doing or anything like that, playing not to get hurt, but he didn't do what he was supposed to do. He didn't do what he normally does. So I definitely have not been impressed with Parsons' second half of the season playing abilities.
Yeah. The rankings of the NFL defenses don't really do, again, the Jets at number 3, the Carolina Panthers at number 4.
What?
Yeah, Carolina Panthers at number 4.
With no offense, you'd think that'd be
a lowest scoring game of all time.
Well, you gotta see the Chiefs. Chiefs?
Yeah, Chiefs are 2.
What happened?
Yeah.
I can see the Chiefs being number 2 because they score so much that another offense has to pass to catch up with them, so that makes the defense look good. But the Jets, they had 0 offense, and they ended up number 3.
Yeah. So
yes.
So the next thing that kind of brings me up to this. So is it a lie that defenses win games? Because the Jets and Panthers at 3 and 4 did not win games.
Yeah, that's looking at the touchdowns allowed. The Cowboys only allowed 36 touchdowns this whole season. The Ravens 26.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh, we got Terrell. Hey, sacks is where the money is at. That's what I said. Hey, you get 15 sacks in the league. You don't care about stopping the run play or anything like that as long as he get the sacks. That's all. And this guy's probably gonna get 130, 140 million over the next 4 years or something, 5 years, or ever how contracts are for defensive ends or linebackers, just for that. But they definitely did a good job this past Sunday of keeping him tamed.
Yeah.
Double team him, do what they had to do to keep him tamed. He was like total non-factor, and number 90 was too. So you guys got to step up when it comes to games like that, especially against that run. You let Adam Jones run 133 yards on you.
Yeah, if you're a player and you're being you're being double teamed, that means somebody else should be free. Where the fuck are you at?
Well, somebody got to be 3.
Yeah.
But hey,
who's free?
You about to make 150. You got to do something about those double teams, man.
Hell,
you got to do something about those double teams.
I never understood why players didn't understand their place, and that's kind of a weird thing to say, but if you're a phenomenal, wide receiver and you're getting double teamed, you're doing exactly what your job should be. You're taking 2 players to 1 player, which frees up somebody else. Now, they're not always going to do that because once they see you getting worn out, that somebody else is catching the ball, they're going to try to move it around. Next thing you know, you're open again. But if you're being double teamed, I'd be happy, as a player being double teamed, knowing that, hey, I just gave somebody else who's not being double, who can basically go after the quarterback by himself.
Yeah, when it comes to you're talking about a defensive end and a defensive lineman, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to being double teamed, you don't know if you're going to be double teamed unless it's obvious on the motion with the tight end and his foot and how it's planted and how you're going to be double teamed or not. But you probably look at the statistics on being double teamed during the game. When it comes to a guy like Parsons, the percentages is not high. You're going to be free most of the time because the offense can't afford to keep a guy in there blocking a double team all the time. So you got to be free. So it's got to up for the defensive end to be able to know what he needs to do to be able to be free. at times so he can create what he needs to do to be able to get a sack.
Yeah.
And that goes for when it comes to DBs, and wide receivers when it came to CeeDee Lamb getting double teamed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to the offensive coordinator and it's up to the wide receiver and the quarterback to know when it's a good opportunity to be able to create some type of motion or anything to free up that guy so he don't get double teamed. And then it's up for the offensive coordinator to put the quarterback in position to not be able to throw into double and triple coverage when that's certainly what Dak was doing, because a couple of balls was caught thrown over the middle. It was three guys there. They caught it. Number 87, Ferguson, and number 3 a couple of times. And I said, ooh, you better quit doing that. You better quit doing that because they're going to get it one time. And then that's when he had threw that ball on that slant, and that safety was sitting right there. Boom, touchdown.
Yeah. So this week, the divisional rounds, the Texans are going to go to Baltimore and play the Ravens. I know that Vaughn will most likely want the Ravens to win, but I honestly am rooting for the Texans. At this point, it's a you don't know what's going to happen. I think the Ravens most likely at home are going to win that game, but I would love nothing more than C.J. Stroud to beat the Ravens.
Well, he's definitely a Cinderella story for the NFL this year, but the Baltimore Ravens, man, I mean, goodness gracious, they've been playing very, very good quality football, especially the second half of the season. And, with that defense ranked number 6 in the NFL. But see, you got the other ones, the Browns, total defense, they were number 1, but they allowed 44 touchdowns. So statistics don't mean anything. And, the Chiefs had 32, the Jets had 36, but the Ravens have 26 touchdowns on that defense this year.
Yep.
That is probably, they're number 1 with 26 touchdowns allowed. So for the Houston Texans to come in and try to blow them out like they did Cleveland, that's not happened. So the spread right now, I think, is 9 points. But I don't believe that the Texans are going to go in there and they have to go to Ravens. So I don't think the Texans are going to go in there and do what they did to the Ravens like they did to Cleveland Browns. So I would say, just guessing, 31-17.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. 31-17 Ravens.
Look at Houston. The Texans defense was ranked 14th. They're in the middle of the pack.
I'm gonna go a little closer on mine. I'm gonna say Ravens 24, and I'm gonna put the Tech. Actually, no. You know what? I think they're both just gonna. I'm gonna do 40-41.
What? Oh man, no, they're not gonna score that many.
I think the Ravens are gonna get 41, and Houston's gonna get 40. I think it's gonna be ridiculous.
I'm anxious to see what that score is. That's not gonna happen. That's gonna be 31-17 type thing, and it's gonna be. I say it's gonna be close to the beginning of the fourth quarter until the Ravens start beating them, because they're not gonna have an answer for that Jackson. They're not going to have an answer for that Jackson.
Yeah. Packers go to the 49ers. I'm going to take 49ers.
Yeah, the spread on that is 10 points. I'll take the 49ers with that. And just like I said, these two, it's going to be I think it's going to be a decently high scoring game because, like I had mentioned earlier,
doing 28-14.
These two offensive coordinators were against a Super Bowl against each other back in 2017, 2016 with the Atlanta Falcons. So Shanahan and LaFleur definitely have the same offensive mind output So I would think this is going to be a definite game that's going to be high scoring. I would say 35-28
Ooh.
San Francisco.
All right.
DFW Social 40, 24-20. I don't think it's going to be that close.
Tampa Bay at Detroit. I'm going to take Detroit to win this game. I think it's another one. It's another close one.
Yeah, Detroit has been doing pretty good. You know, they were excellent at the beginning of the season. The second half of the season, they were going back and forth, and they could have beat the Cowboys probably in that overtime or something. They went for 2 points, but at that time, it didn't matter what placement they got with a win or loss, so that's why they went for the 2. So they gave the Cowboys a game. But I'm interested to see what Detroit's defense is. Man, they ranked number 19th in defense, allowing 336 yards a game. Then the Buccaneers are 23. So defense probably won't even matter this game. Probably a couple of stops, interceptions, sacks, or anything. That's probably going to be the outcome of this game. It's going to be interesting to see what Mayfield does because he actually has a pretty good, decent year considering everybody expect him to fail against the Buccaneers. Well, with the Buccaneers. But he got them to the playoffs.
Yep.
He got them to the playoffs. He might get a nice little contract this year.
Maybe
the next quarterback for the Buccaneers for the next 2-3 years. So, that's good.
I got it 36-38. I think they both just go out there and put up points.
I say 17-14 Lions. This is going to be a boring game. And expect Jared Goff to be coughing up the ball and act like he does when he gets shut down, but he's going to pull it out at the end. He has ability to be a quarterback that can bring a team back, but when he's sluggish, it takes him a while to wake up.
So we got the Chiefs at the Bills. I am for this week, Bills Mafia. I'm going to join for this 1 week. I want the Bills to win.
You like the Bills?
I do. I think it's going to be a damn close game.
These two have been going at it the last couple of years, last 3-4 years. It doesn't matter. It's Mahomes and Allen. And they're going up to Buffalo. So you can't say that the temperature is going to be a factor in this game because Kansas City is used to playing in the cold no matter what. Cold and snow just as Buffalo is. But I think Kansas City is going to pull us out because, they've have experience, winning during the regular season and Super Bowl, obviously. And the Bills have somehow choked every time they got in the playoffs for the last 3 or 4 years. And
in Kansas.
In Kansas. But still, they still choked. It doesn't matter. Kansas City has a good record on the road.
Yeah.
And Buffalo choked. So the reason I'm not picking Buffalo because What?
Okay, let's hear it. What you got?
No, the reason I'm not picking Buffalo because they didn't really beat the Pittsburgh Steelers last night.
Okay.
I mean, they had a couple of big plays and everything, but bad tackling and missed assignments and things like that. To me, they barely got through that game until the end when it just spread wide open. I mean, I'm going to look at the stat. I mean, Rudolph had put up almost 300 yards on those dudes.
Now,
That's Rudolph.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin even said that Rudolph was, he said a lot of it was our defense wasn't getting stops like they should have been getting.
Yeah, I stand correctly. He was 22 for 39, 229 yards, and 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean,
he did a good job.
He did a good job, and that's why I'm not picking the Buffalo Bills. Now you got him going against Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you're talking about a middle-tier quarterback going to probably top 3 quarterback in the NFL. That's why I'm picking Kansas City Chiefs. So I would say something about 31-24, Kansas City.
31-24.
Yeah.
Damn.
Big Mike going 27-23 Bills. Nah. Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Pissy Raiders.
Yeah. Worthless Raiders.
Hey, he said he said Pittsburgh overachieved, but what did the Raiders achieve?
Yeah, no joke. Pittsburgh got further than the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders, they didn't do crap.
And
the Faders.
For your Bears comment, yeah, for your Bear, there you go. The Faders, they just fade away into nothing.
They just fade away into nothing, as usual. As usual. Something going to pop up real smart up there in the next minute or two.
I'm waiting for it. All right, man. Well, that is our Buffalo is not consistent enough to running game, and they're beat up.
So he's going for Kansas City too.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I just don't see it with it being in Buffalo, and I think Josh Allen's a little tired of Patrick Mahomes whooping his ass.
Yeah, but Josh Allen has thrown too many interceptions this year, and he will. And I think with the difference between Kansas City's defense and the Pittsburgh defense, he's run through there straight up. They're gonna pop him.
Yeah,
they're gonna pop him. Raiders get more rings than the Bears. Win. Neither team has gotten any rings in 20 years, so.
Yeah, just because your great-grandpappy had a ring.
What's his point?
Your great-grandpappy celebrated.
Yeah, grandpappy. Yeah, they still holding on. Whoever that quarterback was going to Super Bowl back in the day. I don't remember his name.
So they have 3. Raiders have captured 3 world championships. College football with victories in Super Bowl 11, 15, and 18.
15? They won a Super Bowl in 15?
Yeah, Super Bowl 15.
Oh, Super Bowl 15.
Yeah, Super Bowl 15, Super Bowl, because, yeah, that's right. X is 10, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see.
I'm trying to see how many Super Bowls have they won?
Who?
Oh, they last won in 2003. 21 years ago. They beat the Buccaneers.
And we will not discuss the last time they went to the Super Bowl.
No, let's discuss it. Well, we got a minute or two for them.
We know somebody who was there. I won't name any names, but he likes to wear Santa hats. Here's a hint.
I'm trying to think of who the quarterback back then was.
Vaughn, who was the quarterback back then? It starts with a G. What was that guy's name? No. They lost, Vaughn? You wouldn't say. Who was the quarterback?
Oh, they did lose 21-48.
They got Gannon, Rich Gannon.
Bill Callahan was the coach.
Whomped.
So they didn't win shit. They haven't won nothing. So he's talking about Raiders Nation. Only thing they successful for is grown men out there wearing shoulder pads with spikes on it and got face makeup on like they're in Halloween.
That and smoking cigarettes on the field.
Yeah, smoking cigarettes on the field and everything. I see why Raiders wanted to get out of Oakland. But hey, it is what it is.
Now they got strippers, and didn't one of them just have a car accident? That was a while back.
No, he's done out the league, man. He's luckily he's not in jail or prison or solitary confinement. It is what it is. But yeah, we're gonna have a good defense. Oh, what's up? Good morning, Dave. We're gonna have a good playoff series this weekend. Definitely gonna be fun watching these guys play and see what our predictions hold. And we're gonna be making some bets for the AFC and NFC championship and the Super Bowl. How about that?
I am there with that.
What do you think we should make some squares?
Yes. Hey, let's do that. Let's do that for this week.
You're gonna make some squares.
Yeah.
The Las Vegas, but what's the record the last 10 years?
It ain't great.
Yeah. They were great for 30 years, but the last 10 years it sucked. Yeah, we're gonna make a square for the Hollywood Square. If that's what you want to call it, yeah, for the AFC championship, for the NFC championship, and then we're gonna create squares for the Super Bowl.
Yes.
You're not gonna do no $5 crap either, man. You're not gonna be a $5. No, forget that crap. What do you want to say? 20?
Yeah.
We'll figure it out depending on how many people. We'll figure it out.
All right, man.
Join.
How much? I'm broke.
Man, please. Whatever, man.
Man, come on now.
Come on, man.
We'll figure it out.
Have you ever saw lightning when it's 15 degrees out, Mike? Don't be lying, man.
Coming to get you.
Coming to get you. The clouds are storming over there at 15 degrees. You gotta watch out. Armageddon.
Yep. All right, guys. We appreciate it. Thank you, Flozell, Vaughn, Mike, Terrell, all y'all for participating. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy this week's football.
Hey, brother. All right, fellas.